Welcome to the Art of Procurement, the official podcast of the Catalyst community. And our purpose is to enhance the impact of procurement by elevating the discussion one conversation at a time. Here at Art of Procurement, Catalysts come together every single week to share their challenges, ideas, successes, and perspectives on the business of procurement. Hi there, I'm Philip Eidson, and thank you for tuning in to the Art of Procurement today. If you're a regular listener, you'll know that we typically publish an interview every Monday. But this month, we're celebrating Take Action October. So for October only, we're publishing a 5-minute daily micropod to help you take action to elevate the influence and the impact of both yourself and your team. If you're joining us midway through this series, listen to episode 204. That will give you more details on Take Action October and the daily 5-minute podcast. I also explain the concept of a vehicle in that episode, which in my experience is the single most important factor that determines your ability to translate learnings into action. In today's Take Action podcast, I want to talk about concentration risk. One of the foundations of a sourcing or a category strategy is to seek, where possible, to not have an over-reliance on any particular supplier. It's not always possible. There's a variety of reasons for that, of course, but it's something that we all strive for. However, while we painstakingly execute strategies that diversify our supply base, we often miss other types of concentration risk. So earlier in my career, I was a sourcing manager for outsourcing and offshoring, and my company relied on thousands of outsourced call center staff. We'd built and executed a strategy that used a number of different suppliers for the execution. Although we had enough diversity, we wanted to make sure there wasn't too much that would dilute our importance to any of the different partners that we worked with. But as we were building that strategy and having a diverse number of suppliers, what we actually missed is that the vast majority of these outsourced call center staff spread across different companies were actually based in buildings that were within a small radius of each other in Manila, in the Philippines. So we'd exchanged supplier concentration risk for geographic concentration risk. So we'd introduced a new risk while removing another. And that's okay if that's the strategy. Almost all risks can be mitigated once they've been identified. But concentration risk, it can actually come in many different forms. We talked about there the location of offices, but it can also be different sub-suppliers that are buried deep into the supply chain, or the use of a single port of entry as you're shipping product across the world. Something that really is important to note is that these risks exist equally whether you are buying a service, so in the call center example, and there's been other cases where, for example, servers have all been based in a particular city with India that experienced a flood, even though they were with different suppliers. So when you're buying something that's a service, this can certainly happen, as well as a product that has a physical supply chain. But my action challenge for you today related to this podcast is this. Take a look at a category of spend that you're responsible for, or it could be a subcategory of spend, and take a look, do you have any concentration risks buried within that category or subcategory? You may not have identified them before and that are currently unmitigated. If you do, that's going to be the first step to building a mitigation plan to really start to overcome the concentration risk within your category or your subcategory. Thanks for joining me for this special Take Action October podcast from the Art of Procurement. You can check out today's question by going to artofprocurement.com/takeaction2018. If the idea of taking small actions on a regular basis is something that resonates with you, I'd love for you to check out the details of our Procurement Capability Development Program, the Catalysco platform. The Catalysco platform translates dots into lines. So taking individual pieces of learning, insight, validation, and inspiration, connecting them to coordinated strategies and actions, that's really important, that elevate your influence and your impact. The Catalysco platform helps procurement professionals all around the world become truly trusted advisors. So if that's something that you would like to check out, visit artofprocurement.com/TCP. That's artofprocurement.com/TCP. And I'll be back again tomorrow with another Take Action October daily podcast.